Good morning. It is a bright and sunny Tuesday morning in October and I thought I would do a daily vlog today. I've never done a daily vlog before and I feel like my life has changed a lot in the last few months, and also you haven't seen my casual face for a while when I've done kind of a what's going on with me type video, so I just thought I would combine it all and do a vlog. My life has changed a lot and I feel like it's a bit confusing what I'm doing with my time and how I split my time. I feel like I have been in a real weird funk for the last maybe month or 2 months and I haven't been able to make videos. It's been making me super anxious, just the thought of sitting down and talking to a camera, and this is the first time I've talked to a camera in I think 2 months, maybe a month, like a month and a half maybe, and that is really scary and I don't know why I haven't been able to do it, but I feel like every time I went to film I would just get this really horrible feeling and I don't want to do it, and that's not like me. So I just wanted to do something casual today and kind of see what a day in the life of me is like. So far this morning I have edited a video, which I already had, and that's kind of got me in the mood again, which is really nice. And today I'm mostly going to be editing and I've got a few other bits and pieces to do. The main thing I'm doing at the moment is working on my book, The Paper and Heart Society, which comes out next year, and I'm working on my second round of edits for that. So I've been working on them for a week already and I've got about just under 3 weeks left now to hand them back in, so I'm going to be doing that and I'll talk about that more once I get going with that. But first of all I wanted to do a quick unboxing and also show you some of the boxes I've got in the past few weeks. I've got loads of big boxes of books that publicists and publishers have sent me, so I thought I would show you what I have got because there's some really good stuff in there. So first of all, this just arrived in the post. This is a book that I pre-ordered from Waterstones and I think I know what it is, but the book also doesn't come out for another week, so I'm really excited to see what it is because I know what I pre-ordered and the book doesn't come out for another week, so they've obviously sent it to me early. Gotta use my muscles. It is! I'm so excited about this. They've sent it out early. Oh my god. This is Wundersmith by Jessica Townsend, which is the second Nevermore book, and I read the first one earlier this year and absolutely adored it, so I pre-ordered this signed edition from Waterstones. Look how gorgeous this is. Wow, I love it so much. I feel like if you love Harry Potter and want something that's going to give you the same feeling as that, then you should read this series, and I can't wait to read the sequel. I just love them. They're so cinematic and I love the characters in them and they are just brilliant. So excited. And then in the past few weeks I've also had these 3 boxes come, and I did open them but I wanted to show them on camera, or I was maybe going to do a blog post or an Instagram post on them, so I thought I would show you what I got. The first one is this box. It has this tree on the front and I shall open it up. There it is. There's the book, and inside we have this lovely autumnal collection and a scroll. So let's see. This is a copy of The Twisted Tree by Rachel Berg, and I have been wanting to read this for a while. I've heard really good things about it, and I know Rachel through a debut group because we are all debut authors next year, and this comes out in January, but it's already out on ebook now, so if you want to read it then you can. And the scroll is from the book, so the part on the scroll is an extract from the book which kind of introduces it, and it says on the back, "When the fog rises, run for home, my child. Dead men rise with the mist." I feel like this is going to be a really spooky read, and hopefully I'll get to read it in the next few weeks and get to talk to you about it when it comes out next year. And then I also got sent this very shiny gold box. and I shall open it up. There is no easy way to unbox something like this. There's lots of goodies inside, so I'm going to show you as best as I can. The book is Last Letter from Istanbul by Lucy Foley, which is set just after the First World War, and I've heard really good things about this. It's actually been out in hardback already, and quite a few of my family members had read it and had recommended it, so I'm really excited to read this myself. There is this gorgeous candle, which is going to look lovely with a tea light inside, and also this, which I'm not sure what it is, so I'm gonna unwrap it. It looks like this. How amazing is that? And it says that it is Rose Turkish Delight. So I'm gonna take the plastic from the outside if I can without scissors. There we go. Look, there is Turkish Delight inside. I'm not overly keen on Turkish Delight, but I know that my dad is, so I think he's going to really enjoy that, and I might try some of it. I find it quite sickly, to be honest, but I feel like you can't beat something really nice and sweet and lovely in a bookish parcel. There's also this rose petals tea and this little pencil case or zip bag, which was sourced in Turkey. And then finally we have this, which is so soft and lovely, and it was such a lovely surprise when I opened up the parcel the first time, and then looking back through it again, it was so nice. So thank you so much to HarperCollins who sent this along. And then the final one I have to show you is one of the best bookish parcels I think I've ever received in all of my time of being a blogger and a booktuber, and it is this. So on the front, Lucy Powery is a pink feminist, so very personalised, which I like. And then on opening up, it is very, very pink inside. So this is for the release of Feminists Don't Wear Pink and Other Lies by Scarlett Curtis, with so many contributors such as Saoirse Ronan, who I adore, Keira Knightley is in here, Jamila Jamil, Grace Campbell, Ivana Lynch, Gemma Arterton, another one of my loves, so many others like Zoella and Tanya Burr and Emma Watson, who's written a bit at the back about Our Shared Shelf. So I'm so excited to read this. I love reading about feminism and I love reading other people's takes on feminism and feminist topics, so it's going to be so good, and I just am so excited again to read it. So inside the box we have these two pins. This says I prefer a female lead and is exclusive to Waterstone, so you can go out and buy it. And there's also this one that says full-time feminist on it. I'm going to be wearing these on my pinafores, which I can't resist. And I love the design by Punky Pins. I think these are so cool. There's also a necklace that says feminist on it in conjunction with Aurelia London. And then there is also some Girl King Nails Ink nail polishes. I don't paint my nails a lot, but when I do, it's really nice to have some nice nail polishes. And finally there is these Candy Kittens sour watermelon sweets and a necklace from Tatty Divine. I love Tatty Divine stuff. I don't actually own any of it, but I always admire other people's when I see them post on Twitter or Instagram. I think it's great, and this is so cool. It is a Feminist Don't Wear Pink one, and it's got a star and a little moon charm on it, which I love. I'm going to be wearing this as well. I think it's a really great box in terms of things that I'm going to wear a lot, and I'm going to read the book, and I just absolutely love this. As soon as I opened it, it was something that I knew I was going to love, and I know that I'm going to love the book too. So thank you to Penguin for sending this across, and all three books are out now. So those were some of the boxes that I have received. I just wanted to show you because I thought it was something really nice to share, and I hope that you were inspired by some of these boxes. It's really nice to receive boxes like this. I think it's really exciting and really brings the books to life, and it's definitely a perk of being a blogger or a booktuber, which I really like. I'm going to go now and do some work on my book. I'm going to try and get through a whole chapter and maybe another chapter after that today. I feel like I've got a lot of work to do on that I really do want to get done, which will be difficult because I am finding it quite tricky to edit this book. It is a lot of brain power and I'm enjoying it a lot more than I did last time, but it's still hard. It's still a lot of thinking time and a lot of decisions to make within the writing, so I'm going to try and get as much done today as I can because it's my birthday later this week, so I would like some time off at the end of this week, so it means catching up and getting ahead. So I'm going to do that and I'll update you and talk you through more about my writing in a bit. So I have spent the rest of the morning working on the first half of the chapter I've been working on. It actually went quite well. I had to go back to the start and work my way through it again and then finish off, and now I've got the other half to work on after I have had lunch this afternoon. I'm pretty pleased with how it's going. I'm not certain, and I probably won't know until I get my feedback back again from my editor, but I feel like I am in the right frame of mind today to really get on and do lots of work, which is really nice and feels very rewarding. In terms of the edit I'm doing at the moment, it is a structural edit, which means that I'm reworking chapters and writing new scenes in, and it's not as much work as the first structural edit I did, which really was turning the whole book around. But with this I've also got a line edit, so I've got a loose line edit where my editor goes through line by line in the book and marks up any of her concerns, asks me questions about what's going on, and really questions why the characters may be doing things that they've done, and deleting stuff and adding stuff in. So I've got to check all of that and check that what's deleted is meant to be deleted, or what's added in actually fits with the book, and kind of integrate it in nicely, which I actually quite enjoy. It's a different kind of challenge and really does make you think about it, whereas with the structural stuff it's a lot more planned and I feel like there's a bit more room, so I quite like the tightness of a line edit. So I'm doing a combination of both at the moment, and my draft is due in November, in the second week, so I have got to get that done, and after that it will go to a full line edit, so I'll have the whole manuscript with comments and stuff on, and that should be good. And then after that it goes to copy edits where somebody else reads it and really checks the nitty gritty stuff and checks like why are they standing here when the next minute they're sitting and things like that. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a very different thing. I feel like I found editing really challenging this time, and I never expected that. I'm finding it so difficult mentally, and the last round I found so difficult. It broke me and it took me ages, and I went over my deadline slightly, which is why I'm a little bit behind now, and I'm just a bit annoyed with myself really at how frustrating I found it, because it's something that I really love, but I have found it difficult. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's important to admit when you're struggling, and I have been struggling with it. I feel like I'm getting out of that struggle now, and this draft is so much easier than the last one, but it is still tough and it's still mentally something you've got to cope with. And there are new challenges when you get a deal and you are working with a publisher on a book. There are different challenges again once your book has gone to publication and you're working on something else. So every side of the process I work on comes with new challenges, and there are good challenges and there are also tricky challenges that all you've got to do is work through, and I'm at the stage at the moment where I'm just working through and keeping going. But I like it, and this afternoon I will show you a bit more of what editing is like, and that should be good. So I have eaten my lunch, I have taken my dogs for a walk, and now I'm ready to work for the rest of this afternoon and into this evening. As long as I'm done before Bake Off is on tonight, then I am fine with that. I'm going to try and work up until then. So I'm going to do a bit of editing in a minute, because I've done all my video stuff I wanted to do today and all that kind of stuff. But first I've got some admin to do, like answering emails, and I've also just planned out my week. I kind of plan it out on here. This is a week, it's called the Weekly Times, and I saw this on Jen Campbell's channel, and I thought it would be a good way of planning out my week, because I'm quite disorganised with when I do things, so I thought it would help with that. So I've done that and kind of given myself a loose plan of how this week will plan out and when I can fit everything in, because I was going to film videos this afternoon and I thought actually I'd rather do more editing today and spend more time tomorrow filming videos, because tomorrow I've got a scene to write completely, so I know that I can kind of sit down and do that, whereas today I've got a few different bits to do. So I would like to do it that way around. So I plan on there, and I mean, it works sometimes. I tend to just have a to-do list that I use, which just sits on my desk, and that's much better for me to do. It says Feminist with a to-do list, and I just write down my tasks for the week at the start of every week, and that's kind of how I get stuff done. But in terms of content planning, then it's better to have it laid out in kind of a weekly plan, because I've also got Instagram posts to do this afternoon, but I am a bit unsure on my Instagram at the moment. I'm not really sure what I want to do with it, and that's a bit frustrating. I'm kind of planning out everything to do with all my channels and kind of figuring out what I want to get out of them, because I'm not really enjoying it as much at the moment, and I feel like if you're not enjoying it, then there is a reason why, and so you have to take a step back and look at everything you're doing. And I feel like in terms of Instagram, I think it's the stuff that I'm posting I'm just not happy with. So I want to take a look at that and play around with a few photo ideas and see if I can find something that will make me happier. But we'll have to see on that. And honestly, social media is not my priority right now. My priority is finishing this book. So I'm gonna do some editing. I thought I would show you actually what my editing notes look like. So my editor Polly had read my last draft of my manuscript, and then last week she sent me back a whole 8 pages of notes of things that she thought needed improving, and they were really detailed things. And last time I did edits, I actually took these notes and put them into a plan of my own. This time I'm kind of just working off of here, and I've highlighted loads. I've highlighted the whole thing with things that I really agree with and written suggestions on here, and I'm going through it as I go, because I've got a lot of the big things in my head that I want to do, and I've also got a whiteboard that I work from. It looks like this, and I'm not going to show you what's on it because those would be spoilers for my book, and you've got to read it to find out what happens. But I put detailed chapter plans on here as I'm working through them, so that I've got loads of notes. And I was working on paper, but honestly it was a bit of a waste of paper, so I found that a whiteboard, I could just splurge all my thoughts onto it, and that way I can just rub it off afterwards after I've done that, and it feels really satisfying to do that. So I'm working from the notes that I've done on here, and that system has worked for me this time. Every round of edits is a little bit different, but this is what is working for me at the moment, so that's pretty much how I'm planning out what I've got to do. So next up for me today is answering a few quick emails and also eating Quality Street, because at this point in the day I start to flag and I need some sugar desperately. I mean, I don't eat that every day, but today I just need a boost, and those are my birthday chocolates, and I just feel like in my soul what I need today is chocolate. So I'm going to do some admin, and then maybe I will show you behind the scenes of my Instagram. So I'm going to work on my Instagram now. I don't really do anything fancy with my Instagram, which I think is one of the reasons I like it so much as a platform, because I really don't put a lot of effort into it. I don't put any more effort than I need to do into it, which I suppose lots of people would disagree with, but for me it's not one of my priority platforms. I really enjoy it. I enjoy doing my stories, and I enjoy talking to lots of people on there. But in terms of the pictures and my feed, I really don't worry about it, and I think that's the right way to go about it, because I feel like with the algorithms changing and a lot of pressure to get lots of likes and comments, I don't worry about that as much, and that is what does work for me, because otherwise I'd get so stressed about it. I'd worry that I wasn't getting enough likes or didn't have enough followers, and for me, keeping it low key and keeping it something that I like and enjoy is what takes away that pressure, because I think there is a lot of pressure with social media, and I think if you do this every day, it's good to take away as much of that pressure as you possibly can. So my Instagram is low key. I just use my phone to take my pictures. I edit on the Instagram app. I really don't do anything fancy, and I have tried fancy things in the past, but I always return to the less fancy things, and that's what works for me. And I think with social media, you have to find the thing that works for you, otherwise there's really no point in it. So in the past few months I have been using Instagram backgrounds that I bought, which are like big rolls that you roll out on the floor and you can use as backgrounds, but I don't really love it. I like it and it's good to use, but I feel like it's a lot of effort again, and I just want to take that effort away. And I feel like in terms of what I want my feed to look like, last year I was using this, which is my Cathan, and that is a Welsh blanket. It's a family heirloom. It has mouse holes in it, which is how old it is. It was just in a dusty old box, I think, for years and got very damp, so I inherited it when my nan sadly passed away, and it's very special to me, and I feel like I want something that's special, something that represents me on my social media. So I've decided to go back to using this, and it's always on my bed, so it's easy to set up. It's there already, so you can take pictures at any time of the day. I'm going to start by taking a picture of my 3 Anne of Green Gables books, because I recently read Anne of Green Gables and loved it so much and would really love to talk about it on my Instagram page. So I'm going to take a picture of these. I'm not going to lay them out very fancily, I'm just going to see how it goes. Like I said, I use my phone, I put it on portrait mode, and this is an iPhone 8 Plus, I think. I have tried using a camera in the past. I've used my DSLR, but I mean, I find it a faff to put it from one camera to my phone and like edit, and I just find it all too much to cope with. So I just use my phone now, and that is what I like. That is that picture done. I took a few different shots in different layouts so that I could choose between them, and I want to take a picture of this edition of Shirley by Charlotte Bronte, which is my favourite book of all time, and this is actually an edition that I bought recently, which is from 1891, and it is actually published by Smith, Elder and Company, who originally published the book. So I'm really excited to picture this for the first time. I'm not actually 100% happy with how that picture turned out, so I'm going to rework it. So I've taken some of my other old books, such as this copy of Lord Byron's poetry, which has an inscription saying Christmas 1919 on it, and I'm going to make it into a post and picture about old books, which I think is a lot more personal. And I think that when you're taking a picture, you have to give yourself time to think about the story that you want to create with it, and that is definitely the story that I want to go for. So that's what I'm gonna do instead. And then the final picture I want to take is one of Last Letter from Istanbul by Lucy Foley, which I featured earlier in this video. So I'm going to use my props that I was sent to create a picture. Instagram pictures are done, so I'll show you in a minute how I edit them. I'm pretty sure that I could win an award for the laziest bookstagrammer, but I'm going to show you how I edit, and I don't think that these pictures are going to need a lot of editing, but this is what I see. So I go onto my pictures and then I go onto my favourites. So I've already looked at the pictures, and then I'm just going onto my favourites and I can see which one I like. So I go full picture in this. I don't really like sticking to the squares anymore, but it's important to look and see where the frame is going to go on your feed, which gives you a general indication. So I'm not really sure which of these pictures I like most. What I'm looking for is the framing. Is there loads of space off to the side? Is there loads of space at the top or at the bottom? That's the kind of thing I'm looking for, because that's going to affect how the picture looks. And also just the general colouring. I really like this colouring. The lighting came out really well. So I actually think I like this one the most, and I kind of want to go away from the typical flat lay, which is why I've taken the picture from this angle. That was just something that when I was taking the picture I thought looked a lot better, and in terms of the way that the book looks and the way it pops on the picture, I actually really like this. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for this one. Doesn't really need any changing. I'm looking at the colours and it is actually coming up really nicely, so I actually don't think this picture needs editing, but usually I would maybe make it a tiny bit lighter or up the contrast just if it needs it, but I try and get the picture spot on first time because then you don't need to do the editing and it saves a lot of time, and also it just makes it look more natural. It takes away some of the blur of the photo and takes away some of the graininess that you get when you edit, but I will edit if I need to, but I literally do everything and don't really tend to add any filters. In terms of the caption, I want to create something that feels very personal, so I talk about my experience reading the book, what it reminds me of, how I feel, and I try and make it something that only I could write. It's like a mini blog post really, and I used to really like writing blog posts, but now I think that Instagram is so good for doing that kind of content, so it's nice to do something. I feel like a blog post is quite long, or it can be, and is suiting a different purpose than an Instagram post would, so you kind of have to tailor it to each platform you're doing. And I always try and ask a question at the end of my Instagram post as well, because it makes people want to comment then, they want to reply, and for me that is really rewarding when other people tell you what they thought of a book or give you a recommendation based on the book that you've read. So I think you have to make it personal, it has to be an experience, because otherwise why is somebody going to want to comment on your post over somebody else's who is much more engaging and interactive? And for me it is about making those personal connections. I don't do it for a number of likes or comments, I do it because I'm genuinely interested and I find it fascinating that people all over the world can comment and contribute to a much bigger conversation. The picture alongside my caption has been posted, and in the end I went for autumn is my absolute favourite time of the year. I love the leaves crunching underfoot and the song of the robins as they find their voices again. At the end of last month, I read Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery and was struck by how much it epitomises autumn. As Anne herself says, I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers, which is very true, I feel the same. That wasn't in the caption. It made me feel warm and cosy, and Ellen Montgomery's beautiful prose has stuck with me ever since. It even made me shed a tear at the end. This week I turn 19, and one of the lessons I want to take away from reading Anne is to live with excitement and imagination, even if both do get her into trouble sometimes, because Anne's zest for life is what makes her so infectious. We can all learn a lot from Anne Shirley, which I just really love. Like I said, I want to make it personal, something that is very close to me and explores my feelings about certain things that I love. It combines my love of Anne of Green Gables with my love of the autumn and mixes in my love of nature writing too, with the leaves and the robin. Even though it's something very short, I think that is a caption that I wrote from the heart, and it didn't take long, but it's something that made me feel better. It's a creative way of exploring your feelings about the books that you've read or you want to read, and that's what I really like about it and what I really want to rediscover again. I feel like I am in a big funk at the moment, like I said at the start, and I'm just discovering what I want. I've been doing this for 7 years nearly, and that's a long time to keep doing something, and I think you've got to switch things up, and I think that's what I'm doing at the moment. And I'm doing this full time now, writing, and I suppose I'm doing writing full time and then doing online stuff the other parts of my time, and getting that balance right is difficult, but I want to get it right, and it is something that's really important to me, and I don't want to give it up completely, but I think something has got to give, and you've got to make changes to make it more exciting for yourself. And I think that is kind of what I'm doing at the moment, and figuring out how I want to do things now that this isn't a hobby anymore. It's something that I do every day and have time to do every day. I mean, sometimes it feels like I haven't got time to do it every day, but I have, and this is what I'm spending my time doing. So I'm just kind of figuring it out, and it's taking some time, and I'm gonna try and enjoy it, and I'm gonna try and have fun with it and just try and do that. But it is difficult. I have felt very anxious and very unsure of myself. I mean, I've spent the last 14 years in education, and suddenly I'm not doing that anymore, and that's been quite hard to think about and figure out what I'm doing and where I want to go and what I want to do. And I don't have to figure that out immediately. I'm only 19. Hopefully I've got many more years ahead of me to figure out what I actually want to make of my life. But I'm working on the book, and I'm working on other stuff, and I've just got to figure out who I am and who I want to be with all this online stuff, and how to fit it all in, and think about what I want to prioritise, and figure out the connections that I want to make, because I think for me it is about those personal connections, the way that we connect through books, the way that you get to meet people and talk about books with them, and that's what I want. I don't want the money and the fame and whatever. I just want personal success, and I want something that's going to make me happy and is going to make other people happy too. I mean, I won't be happy all of the time. This vlog, for example, is pretty rough but I just want to do something that does hopefully brighten somebody's day, if not mine. So now I'm going to spend the rest of the day working on my edits. I've got another chapter and a half I want to do, which I know I said earlier, but I did more, and then I've still got more that I want to do. I've kind of changed my target, so I'm going to do that and try and get through as much as I can of that, and I'll update you once I've done a bit more. So that is me done for the day. You can tell it's the end of the day because my face is looking shiny, my lipstick is absolutely disgusting, but I've done everything I need to do today, and now I'm gonna go and watch some YouTube, get ready for Great British Bake Off, my favourite, and that was a day in the life of me. I hope you enjoyed it. Every day is very different, so I'll probably do another one of these at some point if you enjoyed it. So I hope you did. I really hope you liked it. That was my day. That's what my day looks like. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon. Happy reading!